Just like many other children on the desert planet of Tatooine, Cobb Vanth was born a slave sometime before the Clone Wars and was branded with the star-shaped tattoo that signified ownership on the planet. Cobb Vanth would eventually earn his freedom and would go on to become the sheriff of a small town known as Mos Pelgo. To understand the life of Cobb Vanth, it is important to also recognise the events that transpired throughout the galaxy and specifically on Tatooine after Return of the Jedi. The scum and villainy that resided on Tatooine were kept in check through a complex balance of power between the incredibly powerful crime syndicate led by Jabba the Hutt and the Imperials. Only through the threat of oppression from the Empire and the promise of riches working for Jabba the Hutt was the peace kept on this dusty Outer Rim planet. After Luke succeeded in killing Jabba the Hutt and many of the higher-ups within his crime syndicate, the various crime factions began preparing themselves for turf war, with all of them hoping to benefit from the power vacuum left behind by Jabba. The destruction of the second Death Star and the death of Emperor Palpatine was the catalyst that led to all-out war between the crime syndicates. One such crime syndicate, the Red Key Raiders, would seek to establish a presence on Tatooine, posing as the legitimate Red Key mining company, and would struggle for power and wealth with another supposed mining company, the Mining Collective. Cobb Vanth would unwillingly become involved in this power struggle as the two crime gangs sought to exploit his town for resources and slaves. On the very night of the Battle of Endor, the Mining Collective arrived in Mos Pelgo, attacking and killing many individuals of the local bar. As the Mining Collective rounded up the citizens of the village, Vanth managed to get away from the raiders, grabbing a Camtono and making his way into the desert of Tatooine. Without food or water, it was not long until Cobb was overcome with exhaustion. After being taken onto their sandcrawler by Jawas, Vanth was offered many different treasures in exchange for the silicax oscillate crystals inside his Camtono. Still filled with rage that his town had been taken over by a crime syndicate, Vanth would point to the Mandalorian armour that had previously belonged to Boba Fett, seeing it as the only way he was going to retake his town. While aboard the sandcrawler, a representative from the Red Key approached the Jawas, looking for supplies of weaponry, droids and mining equipment for the crime syndicate turf war, sent by the leader of the Red Key, a Wookiee crime lord known as Mavelian. The representative was clearly an off-worlder, a fact Cobb Vanth immediately made note of. Introducing himself as Aswin Charu, the pair were initially friendly with one another. Vanth even decided to vouch for Charu to the Jawas, knowing that the Jawas would be unlikely to give an off-worlder a good price. However, this new friendship would soon become frayed after Vanth realised that Charu was eyeing up the Mandalorian armour. Admitting that he was with the Red Key Company, Vanth immediately informed him of his title of Sheriff and his own desire to purchase the Mandalorian armour. Adwin threatened him with his blaster, but did not anticipate Vanth's speed drawing his blaster. Shooting Adwin in the shoulder, Vanth would tell the Red Key representative that he was bringing the law to a lawless place and that his crime syndicate should leave the sector. After purchasing Boba Fett's armour from the Jawas, Vanth would return to Mos Pelgo. Protected by the legendary Mandalorian armour, the Mining Collective would fail to return fire as Vanth made quick work of the syndicate. With the remainder of the criminals attempting to escape in a speeder, Vanth would fire a missile from his jetpack, killing all on board. 5 years after the Battle of Yavin and the destruction of the first Death Star, Vanth was the mayor of Mos Pelgo, now renamed Freetown. However, the town would still suffer from criminal gangs, in particular the Red Key Raiders. In an attempt to oust Vanth from power, the Raiders snuck a young Huttlet named Borgo into Freetown, believing they could use him as a puppet ruler. This would not succeed, however, after the Red Key Raiders robbed Jabba the Hutt's former Beastmaster, Malakili, Still in mourning after Luke Skywalker killed his Rancor, the Beastmaster was then offered a position to train the young Huttlet by Cobb Vanth. This would benefit Vanth and Freetown immensely, as Malakili and Vanth would strike a deal with the Tuscans after years of conflict. Now respecting the town as it had a Hutt, the Tuscans would agree to protect the town in exchange for water and a pearl from the belly of a crate dragon. Now that the Red Key Raiders' plan to install a puppet government had failed, they resorted to all-out violence against Freetown. Vanth and the residents of Freetown were overrun by the criminals. After Vanth was chained up by the leader of the crime syndicate, Rebellion, he would ask him what his intentions are and why he fought so hard for what the Rebellion saw as just a dusty, out-of-the-way village, ripe for exploitation. Vanth would respond that he fought for freedom and justice on a lawless planet. After seeing Vanth's star slave tattoo, Rebellion would mock him and his use of his Mandalorian armour, revealing his intentions to enslave Freetown's population and exploit its natural resources. Vanth would signal to the Beastmaster and Borgo, with the Huttlet letting out a loud squeal. This alerted the Tusken Raiders to Freetown, with a large battle between the Tusken Raiders and the Red Key breaking out. With the Red Key driven from Freetown once more, but not eliminated, Vanth swore to himself that he would happily die protecting Freetown from the scum and villainy on Tatooine. This video borrowed extensively from the Aftermath trilogy, one of the best pieces of new canon. If you feel like checking out the Aftermath series, press the link down below to help support the channel at no extra cost to yourselves. Thank you for watching guys, and what do you think? Would you like to see Cobb Vanth again on screen? Personally, I would love to see a Western style Star Wars project set on Tatooine starring Cobb Vanth. What do you reckon? And before you go, make sure to check out this month's subscriber Lego giveaway for a chance to win some awesome prizes. See you later guys, and may the Force be with you.